one video. Okay, sorry. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, please accept our humble obeisances. All glories to Jagat Krishna Prabhupada, all glories to Gurudev. Today, we are very much fortunate, we are very much blessed. We have His Grace Pancha GAUDA Prabhu, who has been so merciful and kind to us. He's been on our Sangha for quite a number of times, and we enjoy him each and every time he shows up. We learn so much from him. Personally, my concern is, what is the use of learning when I do not put them into practice? So my prayer is that I would not just be hearing and enjoying it, but also put them into practice. That's where the benefit actually can be found. So Pancha GAUDA Prabhu, once again, we're very much thankful that you always show up to bless us with the association. So with that saying, if you're ready, we'll put the verse on the screen and then you may start speaking. Hare Krishna.
Okay, thank you.
Hare Krishna.
You.
All right.
Okay, reading SRIMAD BHAGAVATAM, Canto 2, Chapter 2, Text 34. Bhagavan Brahma Kartsnyena Trir Avikshya Manishaya Tad Adya Vasyat Kutasto Ratir Atman Yato Bhavet. Bhagavan, the great personality Brahma, the Vedas, Karsneya, by summarization, three times, Anvikshya, scrutinizingly examine, Manishaya, with scholarly attention, Tat, that, Adhyavasyat, ascertained it, Kutasta, with concentration of the mind, Rati, attraction, Atman, Atmani, unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, Yata, by which, Bhavet, it so happens. The great personality, translation purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The great personality Brahma, with great attention and concentration of the mind, studied the Vedas 3 times, and after scrutinizingly examining them, he ascertained that attraction for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, is the highest perfection of religion. Purport. Sri Shukadev Goswami is referring to the highest Vedic authority, Lord Brahma, who is the qualitative incarnation of Godhead. The Vedas were taught to Brahmaji in the beginning of the material creation. Although Brahmaji was to hear Vedic instructions directly from the personality of Godhead, in order to satisfy the inquisitiveness of all prospective students of the Vedas, Brahmaji, just like a scholar, studied the Vedas 3 times, as generally done by all scholars. He studied with great attention, concentrating on the purpose of the Vedas, and after scrutinizingly examining the whole process, he ascertained that becoming a pure, unalloyed devotee of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, is the topmost perfection of all religious principles. And this is the last instruction of the Bhagavad Gita, directly presented by the personality of Godhead. The Vedic conclusion is thus accepted by all acharyas, and those who are against this conclusion are only Veda Vadaratas, as explained in the Bhagavad Gita 2:42. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhistang Stapitang Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Svapadantikam. Vanchakalpa Turubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namane. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschacha Dishatarane. Srila Prabhupada ki. Anyway, thank you again for inviting me to speak something to glorify Krishna for my own purification. I spent the last 9 months in Vrindavan at Krishna Balaram Mandir. Right now I'm at New Ramanreti, which is Florida. We also have Krishna Balaram, Radhasham, also Gornitai and Prabhupada, nice community of devotees. And I was fortunate enough to attend that program every day. So I was appreciating that Lord Brahma is setting the perfect example for all of us. And Brahma is considered the most elevated human being, and to have the personal darshan of the Supreme Lord, when he was told to meditate by the words tapa, when Lord Brahma, after being finding himself in the lotus flower, imagine there you are on a huge lotus and everything else, nothing else around. And fortunately, he received guidance and instruction from an unembodied voice, the Supreme Lord, giving directions. So Lord Brahma took that and sat in meditation for 1,000 celestial years. That's over 2 million regular years the way we know them. But that meditation, just like you go to sleep at night, you wake up in the morning, it just like a flash goes by. So whether it's thousands or millions of years, Lord Brahma performed this yajna, this tapasya, because he understood something is, meaningful behind this. And Krishna was very happy with his surrender, his sincere austerities and tapasya. He shook hands with Lord Brahma and also showed him the Vaikuntha, spiritual world, where you can see everything is self-illuminated. All the living entities are extremely beautiful, all serving Krishna different loving capacities. Just like in Vrindavan, Krishna has his friends, Mother Yashoda, Nanda Maharaj, the gopis, the cows, the land, the fruits, everything is alive. In this material world was created to facilitate our desire to be imitation lords. It's sad that a servant would even, contemplate the idea that, what if I was the enjoyer? Because Krishna has all the attributes. He's the most beautiful, the most renowned, the wealthiest, the strongest, most famous. So many, all these qualities and attributes are available. So everyone is striving for those things: wealth, woman, reputation, prestige. How much I can actually use my own intelligence and abilities. We don't know where the abilities came from, God-given abilities, but everyone's running here and there, working very, very hard. I think Prabhupada one time in England was saying, or maybe some island, where people are rushing back and forth, that, they're going to get off, go right into the ocean. Or maybe they should exchange ideas and maybe stay put. So everyone is moving all over the world, looking for that happiness, for that pleasure, because we're all, what are we? Sat Chidananda Vigraha. We're eternal servants of the Supreme Lord. And we're looking for that eternality. We're looking for that happiness, for that, we're questioning, who am I? What is the purpose of life? That's rare in itself, because this Maya, this Daivi Hesha Gunamayi is very, very powerful. And when Krishna was revealing to Lord Brahma that the material world was created. I'm empowering you again with the same ability and Shakti and intelligence. Parasya Shakti Vividhaiva Shruyate. Krishna simply desires to facilitate all the living entities. Not that he's making arrangements for enjoyment, just like the government, they take care of their educational institutions and other community or social system maintenance. And also they have a prison house, because the prison house is for those who can't follow the rules and regulations of the government. So the material world is full of prisoners. We're imprisoned by goddess Durga. And Krishna expands himself as Lord Brahma. He expands as Lord Shiva and expands himself as Lord Vishnu in different capacities. Krishna has many, many expansions. We're also the Vibhanamsas, the small parts and parcels of Krishna. We're also little Krishnas, tiny. We have that eternal, that Chaita, the consciousness. That's what people are missing, the consciousness. They're thinking that this external body, this hands, legs, and body, and head, and place of birth, my family, my relations, my children, I and mine, all these identifications are due to the misidentification of the eternal spiritual existence. So we have some faith. We have faith in the newspapers or scientists or CNN or different people who are conveying messages throughout the world. We have certain faith and belief that this is factual, or the scientists are saying so. So, okay, that sounds reasonable. The philosophers and all the different psychiatrists and who are giving us some ideas of what is the purpose and goal of life. But in the material world, no one's giving any clarity. Prabhupada would lecture at university of sciences and technology and philosophy. He said, where is that department that distinguishes the difference between the living body and the dead body? When the soul leaves the body, it's just a lump of matter, earth, water, fire, air. It starts immediately decomposing. I don't know if you've seen dead bodies, but in Vrindavan, we often see people, devotees, come and leave, and immediately the body starts decomposing. So before we waste our time, like this morning I was listening to a lecture that 1969 Friday, they're having some initiation. He said at 5 o'clock in the morning, now it's 5 o'clock in the evening, the 12 hours are finished. So 12 hours of our life is already gone. Even if you're prepared to pay $12 million to the doctor to bring back, or the scientist to bring back that time, you cannot bring it back. And I was just telling my wife and everything, wow, we're almost 70. Where did the time go? Where is the time passing? Remember, we were young, just, playing, running, jumping, and even as young men, being on Sankirtan all day long, up early in the morning, chanting and dancing in Mangalarti, enthusiastic for Guru Puja, enthusiastically chanting your rounds so that you can go on the battlefield of Sankirtan. Battlefield means that there are many allurements, and the mind is always giving distractions. The senses, that we've been catering and serving our senses very faithfully for many, many lifetimes. So by great fortune, Srila Prabhupada being sent by Lord Brahma, by the whole Brahma Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, just like Lord Brahma studied the Vedas three times, but he's the living Vedas. Lord Brahma is. But to give us an idea, just a mental picture, that the real solution has always been hearing and chanting, but different ages, different processes of yajna have been recommended. Specifically, Lord Chaitanya came in this age of Kali Yuga in order to again reestablish the yagna, because without performing sacrifice for Vishnu, then all our attempts or all our endeavors for making some advancement in life are frustrated, because no matter how much money we accumulate or how many beautiful women we have in our life and how many nice children and beautiful household, I got a number of cars, I'm very happy. It's just a flash. A few moments later, the body's melting, completely dissolving, just like a popsicle in the summer heat. It just completely becomes deformed. Nothing is functioning anymore. And again, it melts back to the earth. And where that spirit soul, our true identity, where we go, is based on our desire, based on our karma nadaiva trena. Now one will think, well, it doesn't matter if I come back as a dog or come back, whatever happens, it's in God's hands or in nature's hands. It'll happen naturally. No, you have an opportunity. Human form of life is a great opportunity, because 8,400,000 species of life, every variety of enjoyment is available, whether you want to be a slippery worm in the intestines or a god in the heavenly planets controlling things. Everything is temporary in this material world, from the top to the bottom. So this hearing is being emphasized wherever you are. If you're a brahmachari, very good. If you're a householder, very nice. Whatever situation you find yourself in, we should not think, oh, this is my disqualification. I have a responsibility. I have an old mother and father. I have to work and take care of the family. All the challenges will continue. The Pandavas had challenges. Queen Kunti was praying that whenever these difficulties come, it forces me to take more shelter of you. So this Vedic literature that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came, and he was being criticized by the impersonalist Mayavadis. And my understanding of impersonalism, Mayavadis, is to justify that there is no supreme God, that there's no supreme controller. I don't have to surrender. I can become one with that supreme. It still maintains our individuality and our, so-called ego, false ego. But Krishna came as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, as a Chincha Beta Beta Tattva, simultaneously one with God, but different. We are servants, we're eternal servants. Everyone's serving in one capacity or another. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu brought his associates, just as when the king comes, he comes with all his entourage, a very important person. He always has his secretaries and ministers. So the Goswamis, Rupa Sanatan, Bhattaranak Raghunath, Jiva Gopal Bhatta Dasa Raghunath, they come from very, very elevated families, very wealthy, very powerful, and they scrutinizingly studied all the Vedic literatures, commentaries from great acharyas. But we're in the Brahma Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya. You go to a library, there's unlimited literature, there's unlimited munis and yogis and people talking about the Quran, the Bible. And you say, well, the Vedic literature. Yes, but the Vedic literature in the form of SRIMAD Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita in particular, Prabhupada often mentions. Krishna's personal words are there in the form of Bhagavad Gita, and Krishna incarnates as Vyasadeva and gives the glorification of Krishna from the first canto, from his lotus feet, all the way to his smiling face in the 10th canto, where not only understanding his greatness, all the various examples throughout the Bhagavatam of the Lord personally appearing before Lord Shiva, Daksha, Gajendra, the Prachetas, so many appearances, the Kashyapa Muni, the Lord is appearing again and again and again, just like a parent never forgets his sons and daughters. When you have that kind of love and feeling, you're willing to always extend your love and give as much help and facility as you possibly, even though sometimes the children become neglectful. So we've become neglectful. We've forgotten our true position. of eternal servants of the Lord. And we're so fortunate that Prabhupada, under the carrying out the mission of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, were Rupa Nugas, Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, Jiva Goswami, Prabhupada personally, after you read Lilamrita, and we should all read the Lilamrita again, because the Lilamrita is full of very, today, very modern, within our lifetime. Prabhupada showed by example, born in a pure devotee family and undergoing the whole thing of working, family, meeting his spiritual master, but all divinely inspired. The mundaner will see it, oh, it's all by chance, just happened that way because of time, place, and circumstance. This is all very divine and very mystical. We're all under the shelter of Srila Prabhupada, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Prabhupada is an intimate associate of the Supreme Lord and a friend level. He revealed when he arrived in Boston that I miss so much, my dear Krishna, playing with you in the groves of Vrindavan, all the cowherd boys. He likes the cowherd boys very much. So this is not just some sentiment or some fanaticism, or we're blindly following something that you could take this or take something else. This Vedic literature is a very detailed description of the creation, right from the first canto, describing all the elements and how the Lord creates, and through the demigods and all the various planetary systems. Not only this one planet, but millions and billions of planets and billions of universes. The Lord's creative power is unlimited and sometimes overwhelming. But by taking the guidance of the professor or the doctor or the pure spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada, he's giving us a medicine. And that medicine is Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu. Anyone who takes up this process of Krishna consciousness, our faith, Shraddha is important. Without the Shraddha, without this some faith, then it's difficult to keep the sadhu sangha. Shraddha, sadhu sangha, bhajana kriya, anartha nivritti. So simply by associating with devotees means that we're appreciating amongst each other that we're servants of Krishna, servants of Prabhupada. Prabhupada says, do as I'm doing. So Prabhupada's rising early, immediately hearing Bhagavatam, speaking Bhagavatam, personally chanting the holy names, and preaching the message of Krishna consciousness anywhere and everywhere, under all circumstances. So he wanted that we be active in propagating Krishna consciousness. And the way to become active is to spend more time hearing and chanting. This hearing and chanting of the Bhagavatam, there are many literatures, but one should avoid going this way and that way. Let me study all the acharyas. Let me study every, commentary about every single verse. That's nice. It's a good determination, but we can very easily get lost in the wilderness. Stay in the path, this bhakti marg, this path of devotional service, which has been given to us by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Because in this age, Krishna Varnam, Trisha Krishnam, Sangopangasta Parshadam, Jagnai, Sankirtan Prayar, Vijantihi Sumedasa. One who's intelligent. And what is an intelligent person? He asks, who am I? Why are the miseries of life affecting me? Adhyatmika, Adidaivika, Adibodhika, Adhyatmika, the mind and senses and the body giving so much trouble. I call my mother, she's 91. How are you? Oh, arthritis, the body, can't do anything. So much suffering is there from the body and mind. Adibodhika, other living entities. Sometimes mosquitoes, flies, bugs, people who are obnoxious, they sometimes give us difficulties. And Adidaivika, we've seen pandemic, earthquake, drought, flooding, so many. Mother Nature can slap the whole world into oblivion. Doesn't Lord doesn't have to come and kill the demons. Mother Nature can take care of that. But Krishna only comes for the satisfaction of his devotees. He comes out of love. The Father, he personally wants to take care of his sons and daughters. We're all Shakti, female, in the sense that we're all servants of Krishna. He's the supreme Purusha, supreme male, the supreme enjoyer. But our concepts of male and female in sense gratification are bodily and mundane. But that happiness that Krishna experiences with Srimati Radharani, the gopis, the cowherd boys, Nanda and Yashoda, and all the different pastimes that we read in Krishna book, these are genuine experiences of parang drishtva nivartate, much higher taste, much higher satisfaction. All we know in this world is envy, jealousy, selfishness, and all boiling down to, sex enjoyment. We think, oh, this is the ultimate conclusion. Many varieties of literatures or sex literatures are out there. Many distractions are available. But all these distractions will simply do that, distract us from the real essence and purpose of human life, which is to reawaken our spiritual love for Krishna. And if we make a steady reading, I've seen, I don't know if you received that or not, but the book ministry always having interviews about the importance of reading Srila Prabhupada's books. And reading with assimilation, we want to read in a proper atmosphere, not just in a routine way, with eagerness and enthusiasm. Like sometimes, I know when I first was a lot younger, I was interested in music. So you approach it with great enthusiasm. You want to see the books, and you want to practice, and you want to learn, and you do it every day, and you see the progress on a daily basis. What was in the beginning very rudimental and just doing my rudiments and reading and studying the patterns and maybe getting a feeling for the mood. After some time of diligent, regulated, enthusiastic practice makes perfect. So we have to practice Krishna consciousness by hearing every day Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita. I did an audio books, by the way, that can give you that. We have Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, Bhagavad Gita, Nectar Devotion, Nectar Destruction, Krishna book. So many books are available. And they're also available at other devotees, but I did some audio books. And I find that it's good for me to feel regulated, to read it every day in the mood of practice and trying to assimilate what I'm reading. Because you know how quickly we forget. I was rereading some of the second canto. I just finished recording it just a little while ago, but it's always fresh and new. Don't feel like you're going to be bored. Oh, I read that already. No. Every leela and every pastime comes out and becomes flavorful and fresh and new. So whatever is in our way, whatever stumbling blocks are there, whatever shortcoming we personally have, we can recognize and appreciate that, but understand that Prabhupada, he's not just an ordinary personality. He's a Vaikuntha man. Spirit, he's empowered. Parasya Shakti Vividhaiva Shriyate. He's a Shakti Avesha avatar. He's an empowered living entity to give Krishna Bhakti, just like Narada Muni is giving Krishna Bhakti. And that Krishna Bhakti is available, but unfortunately, the materialistic persons in this material world, bewildered by the desire to dominate and exploit material nature in the form of sense gratification and jealousy and envy of other living entities, being misled. They're being bewildered. So have firm faith, have conviction. And the more and more we read and study, as Lord Brahma did, set the example, he studied the Bhagavatam very carefully, and again created by pleasing the Supreme Lord, that Prabhupada will become happy Krishna will be happy and will assist Lord Chaitanya in spreading this mission of Krishna consciousness. It's not going to happen that automatically I'm going to turn a switch and I'm enlightened, I'm going to become Krishna conscious. It can happen very quickly, but it's a matter of our reciprocation with the Lord. As we reciprocate with the Lord, he reciprocates even more. When take one step to Krishna, he takes 10 steps towards you. And it's not that Krishna made things hard. It's just that Maya, she's protecting, she's guarding against all those who are jealous or envious and not completely pure devotees. And to become a pure devotee, these yasyasti bhaktir bhagavati kinchana, these devotional qualities, godly qualities, are already present within our existence. It comes with the spirit soul. The eternal spirit soul is merciful, tolerant, kind, very beautiful in every way. So all we are is covered by the modes of passion, modes of ignorance, and by our perverted desire to enjoy this world. We've complicated our life and mixed up with the lives of so many others. This whole material civilization is a civilization of demons, in the sense that anyone who's against God and or not pursuing awakening their understanding of God is blinded by the glitter of material existence. And that glitter, not everything that glitters is gold. It's just unfortunate, poisonous situation that'll drive us into this cycle of birth and death. So Prabhupada struggled to establish the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. There are many, many sincere devotees, and every institution has its difficulties, troubles. Sometimes if we get overly fixated on focusing on all the little things or big things that are not 100% Krishna conscious, that's going to go on. There are many people who are pretenders, and there are many sincere souls. So that's why the sadhu sangha is so important. Associate with those who are hearing about Krishna, who are glorifying Krishna, are eager for the kirtan, eager to hear the pastimes. Yes, it's an austerity to sit in the Bhagavatam class. I appreciate all of you tolerating me trying to speak a few things, because by this, this is called sacrifice. You're doing yajna. Hearing is a yajna. Chanting is a yajna. Taking prasadam is a yajna. Glorifying the Lord. We're coming out of our comfort zone. We're thinking that, I don't want to be, mixed with so many people, and I'm better off just sitting in a very quiet situation. When Prabhupada was trying to establish his Bombay Center and Vrindavan Center in the early 70s, some of the leaders, devotees who were there, Prabhupada, I can't chant my rounds. There's so many troubles. Devotees aren't listening. So many problems. People don't like us here. They think we're spies. And you think you have it hard. Imagine being in a mosquito infested with flies and bugs there at the Bombay Juhu property. It's just like a little bit of a bit of a jungle. No proper water, no proper food, no proper living conditions, and still having to make the endeavor to deal with the challenges and help to push on Krishna consciousness. So these are some austerities, some challenges involved. It's a miracle. Prabhupada's got beautiful Krishna Balaram Mandir in Sri Vrindavan Dham and Juhu. They had beautiful Rasa Bihari, and also Sitaram, Lakshman, Hanuman, Gaurni Tai, Mumbai, Delhi, Radhaparta Sarthi, now hundreds of temples all over India. And Lord Chaitanya's movement will take off, is taking off. Book distribution is increasing. People with intelligence, even well-to-do politicians and wealthy people are appreciating more and more of this Krishna consciousness society. Although it's difficult when one is very wealthy and has all the different, has his eating, sleeping, mating, and defending in a polished way. You think, what need is there for so much surrender? I already have everything. But these are just temporary glitters of this material world. The real treasure house, Sanatana Goswami revealed to the one Brahmana who was looking for the highest pleasure. He was contemplating this touchstone which turns metal into gold. He said, no, throw that away, it's useless. Take the chanting of the Lord's holy name. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. This holy name is a treasure, and we have to, although we may not have the spontaneous attraction, Lord Chaitanya agreed, yes, I'm so unfortunate I don't have a taste for the holy name, but all perfection, everything is available in your holy name, all sacrifice, all yajna, all awakening of contaminated consciousness, all that power is there in the holy name. But the other supporting elements of rising early, taking bath, morning program, don't cut corners. If you can, attend a full program. If you can, chant with the devotees. And if you can, make arrangements to hear Bhagavatam early in the morning. In your whole day, adjust your lifestyle so that hearing and chanting is a major part of your existence. And then as we grow and mature in Krishna consciousness more and more, Krishna will reveal within our heart. He'll give us the premanjana chudi, the bhakti vilochanena, the eyes to appreciate the deity that Krishna is there. Krishna is in every living being. Krishna is giving everyone guidance. If you want to forget Krishna, he'll give you the ability to forget him. If you want to remember Krishna, he'll give you the inspiration to be with the devotees and read the books and chant the holy name. I know every day we're hearing the similar philosophy, but this is our nature of Kali Yuga and our embodiment. We have a tendency of forgetting. So we have to hear and remember daily, every day. Anyway, I don't know how long the class goes, but I offered a little something here. Bhagavatam is meant for sharing and glorifying Krishna and Krishna's devotees. Lord Brahma set a beautiful example of studying the Vedic literatures, and from Brahma studying to Vyasadeva and Narada Muni, all the way through the Guru Parampara, Srila Prabhupada, they condensed, they made all this milk into a burfi, such a very sweet burfi. Vrindavan burfi is wonderful. And this burfi is available in the form of Bhagavad Gita, SRIMAD Bhagavatam, chanting the holy name and associating with the Vaishnavas. So take more and more advantage of that, and Krishna will do the rest. Krishna's name will unlock the treasure house of love for Krishna in our heart, and we'll feel genuine happiness and genuine satisfaction knowing we're going back home, back to Krishna in the spiritual world. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki.
Joy. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for the wonderful, wonderful, wonderful katha. It's very inspiring, and it's like practical steps to engaging ourselves in Krishna consciousness. So thank you so much for sharing this wisdom with us. And dear devotees, if anyone has a question, a comment, a realization to share, or anything you want to talk about, please, you may unmute and you speak. Prabhu, you said you are in Florida, right?
Yes, my family lives in Alachua, in Gainesville, Alachua, Florida. And we have beautiful Gorni Thai deities. Also, Krishna Balaram is here, and also Radha Shyama Sundar.
Oh, yeah.
And we've had a few Rath Yatras already last couple of weeks on the ocean. So it's nice, nice community of devotees.
Yes, yes. If you may carry my humble obeisances to His Grace Sesha Prabhu, I would really appreciate.
I was just sitting next to Shesha today, this morning during the class, and then I gave class yesterday in Alachua. I guess I had to sit in for someone who did show up, but Shesha was appreciating. He was saying, because I was telling him in Vrindavan, right now we're having thousands, tens of thousands of visitors daily. It's not stopped ever since Kartik time. And we're putting out 25,000 cups of khichdi, and so much book distribution is going on, and kirtan is going on in the samadhi, in the temple room, in Prabhupada's house. We have a few kirtan parties on the street. And people, they visit so many temples, but when they come to Krishna Balaram Mandir, they feel that the spiritual emotion, the beauty of the deities is incredible. The dressing and the ornamentations, and the kirtan is always roaring. So the people, they have a changing life experience. Yeah. So Shesha Prabhu was, glorifying me that I'm doing something nice there. Although I don't feel that, that I've done much of anything, but Krishna gives us always opportunities for service, and we have a lot of service to perform.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. I was fortunate to have visited in Alachua some time back, and before you started speaking on this text, I read through. I did not study it, unfortunately. I just read through, which is not something recommended by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada recommends us to study, just like Lord Brahma, the most intellectual being in this universe. He had to study the Vedas scrutinizingly 3 times. And then he came to a conclusion that the best way to approach the Supreme Lord is his personality. Now, when I read that and I heard your comment to what the text and Srila Prabhupada have said, and I was thinking to myself, in order for me to serve the Supreme Lord, I am more or less dependent on my mind and intelligence. If my mind and intelligence are not helping me, then it's going to be difficult for me as Jiva Atma to surrender and truly serve Krishna. Even though I'm superior as Jiva, I'm superior to the mind and intelligence, but here I am dependent on the mind and intelligence. So my question is, how does the Jiva discipline the mind and intelligence in such a way that the mind and intelligence become friends and not enemies? Hare Krishna, this is my worry and concern.
This is good. We've heard often how Arjuna told Krishna that the mind is more difficult to control than the raging wind. So who can control the raging wind? The raging wind is just impossible to control. And so our mind is like that. It's very turbulent, very unsteady. And our senses are, they're not satisfied with the unlimited lifetimes that we've dedicated to be obedient servants. So we're always trying to figure out, I need to eat this or taste that or enjoy this, And the mind always orchestrates, okay, this is where the Maha is being hidden. So, you get there and get that. So by constant practice and detachment, one can learn to control the mind and senses. It's not like I said, the turning on the switch, okay, the mind is now obedient. We've had many, many years of conditioning, long imprisonment in this material bodies, one after another. And we've solidified a very strong, subtle subtle body, mind, intelligence, and false ego. And that false ego is our false identification with that. But now we have the real medicine, very potent medicine, and the real formula for getting out of the entrapment, out of the clutches of the mind and the rascal mind. And it's a matter of purifying the intelligence, because the intelligence is there. The mind dictates and the intelligence orchestrates it. So if the mind, like Bajahure Mana, Srinanda Nandana, that if one can fix our mind on Krishna, and we can fix our mind on the pastimes of the Lord and the service of our spiritual master, then the intelligence is getting more and more purified. So there will come a time when we actually have a distaste for material existence, because the parandrishtva nivartate will manifest. We have to have faith. If a person who's very sick with jaundice, he's taking the sugar cane, he said, but it tastes so bitter. Yes, it's going to taste bitter. But gradually, as the disease is, eliminated, and our true healthy state comes to the forefront, then we'll gain more strength to, when the mind is talking nonsense, no, I need to do like this. I need to take rest early. I need to get up, and I need to be steady in my devotional life. So then the mind is making proper decisions because the intelligence is getting purified. But it seems from a standpoint of view that the mind is more difficult to control than the raging wind. But Krishna appreciates, yes, that's true. But nothing comes cheap. We actually have to perform yajna. When we read about the austerities, even the demons performed in order to get powers, it's unimaginable. So what to speak of the austerities we have to perform? The four regulative principles are enough to scare anybody. Who wants to follow four regulative principles? But our determination and our desire to get freed from the repetition of birth and death, and also to awaken our true love. We're all looking for love, our true love for Prabhupada, our true love for Krishna and Balaram. Then that determination to anyone who wants to get their PhD or become very proficient in dance or music or performance of any sort needs to undergo austerities and regimented, regulative, guided by a professional teacher. And then there may be so many challenges in that pursuit of that goal, but with that goal always in mind and with proper guidance, one becomes spontaneous. As I was saying, first it's all rudimental, but after you're following carefully the direction of your Guru Maharaj and the Vedic literature, then it becomes more raganuga, more spontaneous. You're naturally attracted to sing and dance and chant prasadam. You have no desire to hear the mundane kukata, the crow-like people. You don't want to hear about all the different fall downs in the world, all the different disturbances. You actually have a distaste for that. So it comes gradually and incrementally as we try to follow the order, blindly following the order of our spiritual master, but not blindly, because we're also using our logic, reason, and intelligence, but still remaining humble and continuing.
All right. Thank you so much for the answer you gave, because it is, to me, it is an affirmation to an approach I have had and I've tried to live by for quite some time since I joined the devotional service. And I know most people may not use this term or this word, but I've always thought and believed that in order for me to be successful, especially last week and 2 days ago, the texts that we've been reading all indicate that devotional service is the easiest process to approaching Krishna. And I think to myself, if devotional service is the easiest process, then it means approaching Krishna is not a cheap thing, because devotional service, if the scriptures, Sri Prabhupada is saying that devotional service is the easiest, and we as practitioners, we know it's not easy. Like, just like you're saying, just following 4 regulative principles alone is not easy. Waking up early in the morning, when it's the best time to sleep, you have to wake up. So, but we're reading that this is the easiest thing. That means that it is very difficult to go back to Godhead. And therefore, we should have a very strong determination. And my approach has been that I sometimes need to play stubbornness. I need to be a little bit stubborn. In other words, I have to grow thick skin. And also, like you were saying, if I hear something that may seemingly have to slow me down or lose faith in Guru and Krishna and the process, I don't have to let those things bother me. But talk is cheap. I can sit here and say so many things, but when I get hit in the face with the situation, I might be acting differently. So my inquiry is, one may know the philosophy, but when he is confronted with a particular situation, sometimes the knowledge you have, whatever you know, flows through it out of the window. And you misbehave. After you've misbehaved, you look back and say, why did I do that? So my question is, in the face of such turbulent situations, when somebody you depend on falls, like you were saying, forget about these things, but somebody you depend on, somebody you count on falls, somebody who is a spiritual guide, spiritual mentor falls. If situations like that happen, somebody blasphemes your guru, somebody blasphemes you, in such situations, what is the best approach for us as practicing devotees to remain sane and not be overwhelmingly disturbed by such situations? It's kind of a long talk, but the bottom line is, what do we do in the face of situations whereby if we have to act on our human impulses, we will act contrary to being a Vaishnava? Hare Krishna.
Yeah. You should get your PhD here. You're getting no, this is good. You're contemplating and you're recognizing that we're in a battlefield, and in the battlefield, sometimes privates, sergeants, captains, generals, they also, get killed on the battlefield or injured. So when we find ourselves in difficult situations, all we can do is, again, take shelter of chanting the Lord's holy name. Like when I was Sankirtan, I'd sometimes have difficulty with the mind or the people. So I'd slow down, open Srila Prabhupada's books and read, because somehow it seems that you open the book and write the appropriate place, and it has the proper instruction and guidance to kind of help you get over that hump. That also, if you're walking on the path and you slip and fall into the ditch, what can you do? You got to get up out of the ditch, try to have the help of others if possible, but continue on the path, because we're confident this path of Krishna Bhakti, and that our captain, Srila Prabhupada, is a worthy captain, is appointed personally by Lord Chaitanya, and that the favorable breezes, this Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita is the absolute truth. So sometimes, due to bad conditioning, the mind sometimes throws away all good guidance and good instructions, and we think like, why did I say that, or why did I do that, and why am I attracted this way? I'm not supposed to be, but still my mind is attracted. So these are things we have to tolerate in our present situation, because there's no real cure other than continually hearing, chanting, and the association of devotees. And then the obstacles that do come and the mishaps, they'll become less and less. And there will come a time when your spiritual strength, it gives you the ability and the clarity to overcome these severe challenges. And all we can do is pray, try to help one another, encourage one another. But individually, we're all flying our own airplane at the end of the day. And I think at home, okay, I have two sons. One's in charge of SWAT department, an officer in Coast Guard Reserve, in charge of in the big man of police. My other son takes care of my business, this, that. They grew up many years in Vrindavan in India, have grandsons. And you think, well, it's my duty. I have to give them as much Krishna consciousness. But I just try to set a good example myself and try to encourage them in the best way that I can. And hopefully all we can do really is set a really good example by working on our own selves and not worry about everyone else's shortcomings and inabilities to follow. Then we'll see that we'll become less critical of others, our envy and jealousy, than always want to see the good that, yes, this person is doing nicely, not in a false way, but, by your own happiness, your smile, your enthusiasm, people, they get energy by that. When I see you smile, it's pleasing, it's happy for me. And then I know that, hey, Krishna consciousness, it works. It's working all over the world. And everybody has difficulties. I'm not the only one. We all have difficulties. And none of us are, on the exalted, pure devotee. There may be some, but just like PhDs, they're rare. Get a PhD in any field, it takes a lot of work, a lot of endeavor. It's not like it's not everyone. But somehow Lord Chaitanya is very kind, very merciful, and the Sankirtan mission is flooding, and he's freely giving love of Godhead. And it's not a cheap thing, but it's available, and it's our duty to help spread it. And the more we want to spread Krishna consciousness, the less our own worries become, the less our own problems become, because we're more concerned about the sufferings of others. Then it becomes, not artificial, but it genuinely develops within us like that. That the process works. Got to be patient. Utsahan nishchayat taryat tat karma pravartana. Enthusiasm, determination, patience. Be there. Just stay with it. Time will come.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. I'm so grateful to the answer you gave to my question. Dear devotees, if anyone has something to ask, please, you may do so before we let go of Prabhuji. Well, I'm very grateful to your answers, sincerely, because as you were answering my questions, I can feel that you were answering your questions. You're answering the questions not merely on the basis of knowledge, but also on the basis of the realization and experience. Because I can't think of any single Srila Prabhupada direct disciple who has not been blasphemed. I've come across few unfortunate statements. Some, I think I should be bold enough to say, unscrupulous people have said about some amazing devotees. And sometimes these amazing devotees hear about these things, but they still move on. I remember there was a time in Gita Nagri here, somebody had written something very, very offensive against my Gurudev, His Holiness Bhaktivinoda Swami Maharaj. And I had never thought ever that anybody could say something like that about a guru. So when I saw that, I was crying. I was crying. But I approached my Gurudev, and because it was so offensive, I could not repeat exactly what I had read about him to him. But he also asked me to tell him what it's been said. So I just told him something little. And he just embraced me and he said, don't worry about this. It was like not, and I was thinking to myself, my goodness, what is this? But my other question, Prabhuji, is that sometimes some of us as Kanishta devotees, we suffer in our devotional lives based on the perception that we have. For example, I used to think that the spiritual master does not fall sick. I used to think that the spiritual master does not have anger and does not demonstrate anger. And so that was what I was indirectly made to believe. So the first day I saw that the spiritual master demonstrated anger, I was taken aback. So what I would want you to do for us, if possible, is to help us understand what it means when we say this person is a guru, this person is a spiritual master, this person is advanced devotee. What are some of the things we should be expecting or understand about such a person so that when some things happen, we do not get taken aback or get discouraged? Hare Krishna. And I hope this is my last question and remark. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, I mean, like I'm reading Lila Amrita, and a lot of these type of circumstances are brought to the forefront when Prabhupada invited one boy who was wanting to come up on stage, and then he ended up just being, very rascal and speaking nonsense, and Prabhupada got angry to, and many of the audience people, oh, your guru got angry, oh, a spiritualist should not be angry, and it's like Arjuna was not just a docile, he became angry at the for the sake of Krishna consciousness. And like when someone's blaspheming another Vaishnava or the Supreme Lord, angry to the point of cut out their tongue or leave immediately, or even to the point where you kill them, or is it because to hear others being, especially those who are dedicated their lives for the mission of Krishna consciousness, it's not like we're just becoming robots now. Okay, now he's no longer angry, no longer lusty, he's no longer jealous or envious. It's just that we learned how to recognize that and control it and apply it in Krishna's service more and more. The fact that you recognize, oh, why did I get angry or do like that? Then that in itself is an indication that you're becoming thoughtful. You're becoming more aware of what is right, what is wrong, and to avoid in the future even more so. And so we should not think that, oh, he's a pure devotee, but why is he becoming angry or why is he becoming like that? Doesn't seem appropriate. It's not that we're the ones to judge, and obviously we don't want to minimize the value of a senior devotee or pure devotee, what to speak of. That, you know, so it's, and not that we're blind, but some people take it as their mission to find more and more and expose them more and more, and rally with others who want to campaign against this and that. It's such a waste of time. You know, people always encourage me, well, try this website, try that website. Look what's going on. Look what's going on. I said, yeah, this is going to go on. But look at the achievements of those who are inspiring so many other by their chanting or by their lecturing and by their steady example of faithful service to Prabhupada. So you have to look at the positive and see the genuine positive aspects of the Krishna consciousness. Otherwise, you could lose your ability to keep your enthusiasm intact to continue your meditation of Krishna consciousness. You have very many good questions. You could write books about some of these things.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. I usually go back and play the recording and then listen to the katha. Generally, I do that, but particularly today's lecture, I would definitely listen to it again, because these are personal questions that I have, and looking for answers to them, and you've so kindly provided them to me. So, like I said before at the beginning of the class, I pray, and I hope all the devotees also pray, that we're not just listening and that is the end of what we are hearing, but to put it there, to put what we are hearing into practice. So thank you so much. His Grace Srimad Prabhu, you have something to add before we go? Srimad is okay. Hare Krishna.
No, I'm driving. My obeisance to Prabhu. Thank you. Thank you very much for the lecture. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. So,
one more thing. One more thing in Hawaii,
ahead.
during the initiation, Prabhupada was saying, this is not the end. Initiation is the beginning. That means that you vow to follow and to, work on yourself. So when we become initiated or, attempt to become more Krishna conscious, that's the beginning of our journey. So we have to strive very enthusiastically for that ultimate goal. And there'll be some rocky ways, and we have a lot to shed concerning all our bad habits and, different contaminants that we've picked up all along the journey of many lifetimes. But this one lifetime in the medicine is very powerful. Just keep working at it and stay steady. Always keep good association. That's all.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. And on this note, we're going to humbly request all the devotees to kindly unmute, and we all chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra to express appreciation for Prabhu's guidance, love, and association. Jai. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama
Hare Hare.
Panca GAUDA Das Prabhu ki jai.
Jai. Hare Krishna. Thank you.